Alright guys, so today is currently October 30th, 2024, and the past couple of days we took two trades and they both resulted in wins. So yeah, let's just get into it. So the first trade, we ended up making, I believe it was around $260, right? I think this trade was a pretty clean trade in my opinion. We followed the rules and we went to TP, so I thought that was pretty cool. But let's just get into my reasoning behind it. So basically, we are currently on M and Q, so micros on the NASDAQ. Here on the chart, on the hourly time frame, we had an hourly sweep, right? So right over here, all these hourly highs, they got swept by this candle right here. And then once we swept the hourly highs, I was looking for price to continue lower into some kind of inefficiency or equilibrium. So that was my thought process behind taking the short position. And basically we just drew the fib from the bottom to the top and equilibrium is right here. All right, so moving on to the 1 minute time frame, basically right over here, we have the 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. silver bullet hour. And basically once we swept the highs, I was looking for price to displace lower and then create a fair value gap to retrace into and then continue lower. So honestly here, like what I could have done better was probably waited for a break of structure, but honestly I considered this as a break of structure at the time. So here we swept the hourly highs, that's right over here. We go higher, make a swing low, and we displace lower, right? So my entry was actually at the top of this fair value gap right over here. This is a 1 minute fair value gap and we risked $200 and we made it $260. So the risk to reward wasn't great, but it's something that I'm finding kind of works. It does suck. It doesn't, I mean, it used to be like at least a 1 to 2, but now it's just like it's like a 1 to 1.5 basically. I could have definitely made a lot more, but I'm aiming for low-hanging fruit here, right? So for the most part, I was price was clearly just consolidating, right, for the longest time. And honestly, I was glad I was able to just stick through it. As you can see before, like my old trading strategy, I would have had the stop loss at the previous highs right over here, right? And I would have definitely gone stopped out. So I'm very much liking, having some extra leeway in terms of my stop loss, right? Like obviously I could increase the risk to reward if I just moved it right over here, but for the most part, it's always, stopped me out before continuing in my ideal direction. So yeah, I mean, that was a quick trade. It's pretty clean, honestly, in my opinion. Let's just move on to the next trade. All right, so moving on to the second trade, as you can see here, we made $89. I ended up cutting this trade short. There honestly wasn't really any reason to, but I just kind of didn't want to hold it overnight. But yeah, as you can see here, we're currently up $826.68, and our target profit is $3,000. So, slowly but surely, we're making our way there. So basically, we're on the hourly time frame. This trade was taken in the London session silver bullet. So here we have a hourly sweep. We swept all these previous highs, and at this point I'm looking for price to retrace into some kind of equilibrium, right? So let me see if I can actually find this chart. This one's more cleaner. So right over here, right, we have an hourly sweep. I'm looking for price to draw towards this hourly fair value gap or the 0.5 equilibrium of this range right over here from the bottom to the top, right? There's also a hourly fair value gap located right here. And when I saw price retracing into it, I was expecting price to reject to continue lower, right? So at this point, I'm pretty bearish. I want price to continue lower. So basically, price goes up into this hourly fair value gap and I take a short. I set my sell order right over here at the top of the hourly fair value gap, right? And this was equilibrium of this range, or a little bit above it. Yeah, it was a little bit above equilibrium. So we're selling in premium prices, right? Equilibrium's right here. Our sell limit was right here. So this trade, we ended up only using 2 contracts or 2 micros, right? Because I didn't want to risk too much. Because if my entry was here, where is it? If my entry was here and the stop loss was up here, I would have been risking too much, right? So I had to reduce risk. And as you can see, I actually ended up taking profits early, right? We took this trade in the London session and price came down and retraced back up. So at this point, for me, it was like 3 something a.m., right? Price came all the way down here and I saw it start to retrace upward, right? At this point, I woke up, you know, honestly, if I didn't wake up, I probably would have gotten the full TP, as you can see right here, but I ended up waking up and I decided to just close the trade early, right? Because I'm like, okay, price came down all the way here, but we never actually hit this area. And I didn't want price to just reverse on me when the New York session opened, right? So I ended up just closing the trade for a $89 profit, right? And as you can see, if we play price forward, this is where we're currently at right now. Price came all the way down. I left a lot on the table here. As you can see, we have the hourly fair value gaps. That was definitely one of the targets. But at this point, like I was just aiming for low hanging fruit, right? So the target was just set to this previous low. But yeah, I mean, we drew back all the way to the hourly fair value gap and even past equilibrium, right? So I thought that was pretty cool. I think it's pretty cool that throughout this trade, like I noticed recently, I'm definitely getting more patient, right? I'm letting price come to me, and it's definitely saved me a lot of headache. It gives me more confidence in my entries, like, and if price goes the opposite way, it is what it is, right? I got my desired entry, and you know what? It happens. It's all a part of the journey. So yeah, I mean, that's all for this trade. I'll catch you guys in the next one. All right, guys, so today is currently November 6th, 2024. Sorry, this week's recap has been a little late. There was just a whole bunch of stuff I had to do last week. I just had work and a lot of presentations and business projects for my class for university. But basically, I'll show you guys the trade history. Because I'm doing this late, there have been trades that have been taken place, but I'll go over those trades for next week's recap. But I mean, I guess you guys could see how bad it's looking right now, but we're just gonna look away and we're not gonna count that for now, okay? So basically, we're gonna be looking at these 2 trades right here. So we already went over these 2, and we're gonna be looking at this loss and this loss right here. So we actually ended off the week profitable, right? We were up, I think, $135 on the week. Like, just disregard this half because that's for this week. But as you can see here, the current account balance is $50,142.06. So like I said, that's the updated balance as of right now, November 6th, 2024. But, you know, we didn't, like, a lot of those trades were taken this week and not last week. So basically here, we're going to be going over the $190 loss as well as the $24 loss right here. So basically we are on NASDAQ, right? We are on the 1 hour time frame, and basically the whole trade idea goes like this. So at this point, you know, we have SMTs right here. The low has not been swept yet, right? So we have SMTs on NASDAQ and then SMTs on ES going lower, right? Except on ES, we did sweep the low. So at this point, I'm looking for price to actually continue higher. Sorry, if this would load. I'm looking for price to continue higher because we're in a higher time frame inefficiency. So honestly, I just considered this right over here a fair value gap on the hourly. So I was looking for price to retrace and continue higher, right? But in this instance, we didn't actually get a hourly sweep, right? We only had an SMT in a higher time frame imbalance. So I just went to the lower time frames, right? As you can see here, let's just go straight to the 1 minute because that's where I took the trade. So the first trade right here, this is the New York session. Price came down lower. So here we do have equilibrium, and I'm looking for price to continue to either equilibrium or up higher on these fair value gaps up here, right? So that's the draw on liquidity. I'm looking for price to go higher. So on the 1 hour, SMTs in a higher time frame inefficiency, and then we have equilibrium up here and inefficiencies up here. So draw on liquidity. And basically, when price made a swing right here, we got displacement higher, and that was the breaker structure, right? At this point, I'm looking for a retracement into an inefficiency in this displacement right here to continue higher. And this was an entry in discounted prices, as you can see right here, right? So I'll play price forward. We got entered in, and basically we got stopped out like pretty quick, right? Sorry, my computer is kind of slow right now. I think it's actually my Wi-Fi, but yeah, we eventually got stopped out right over here. So that was a $190 loss, which honestly sucks, but you know what? It is what it is. So as for the second trade, we took a $24 loss, and basically I'll show you right here on the 1 hour, we eventually did sweep this low right here, right? We also entered into a higher time frame inefficiency, and we started to reject off this area. So at this point, I'm looking to lower my risk, and I only went in one contract long, right? I still had conviction in that price would continue higher. So basically here, price comes down here, we go up, and I'm looking for price to retrace into some kind of inefficiency, right? And we eventually go all the way up here, right? There's a fair value gap right over here that I decided to take an entry on. And yeah, I mean, that's basically what happened. The reason why my loss was actually $24 was because I was actually talking to my friend at the time while looking at the charts, and I think I placed my arrow over the close button and I accidentally clicked it. So we actually got out very luckily, right? Because as you can see here, we would have lost another 200, but that accident saved me a little bit. But yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it for last week, or I mean I guess I'll say this week, right? There's not too much to say. We ended off the week up, I think, $135, which, hey, I'll take a green week any day. Alright guys, so that'll be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Please remember to leave a like, comment, and subscribe. There's also a link in the description below for a free Discord community where new and existing traders can, help each other grow. I look forward to seeing you guys there. And yeah, I mean, this week was pretty short. We did end off the week in a profit, so I'll definitely take that. And yeah, I mean, as you guys saw, my trade history, next week is looking pretty rough, not gonna lie. But you know what? We just gotta remember to stick to our plan and just overall enjoy the journey. Losses happen, and it's just a part of the trading journey. So yeah. Anyways, guys, peace.